Hey everybody, so I just got done for the day, so I just want to talk to you about opening up your mind and opening up your eyes. It's a lot of people, 95 out of 100, usually 95%, so 95 out of 100 people, they're still watching mainstream media, they're not turning off their TV, so you see an increase spike in COVID cases, you see an increase, demand for certain restrictions, wearing a mask and stuff like this. So you guys need to, this video is more for the people who are not there yet. I need to help you cross that bridge and see not just 1 or 2 months when things are supposed to go back to normal. Like, no, this has been planned, guys. So this is a long time in the making, and so we are not even in the beginning stages of what's really going to happen. So the reason why I'm telling you all this is because the amount of abuse and mental wear and tear that is going on in families and in households is way worse than any of the physical effects. Even if this had a higher death rate and all this other stuff, which it doesn't. We're sitting around waiting for a vaccine that has a 90% success rate when we can't even worry about a 99% survival rate of the virus itself. So you guys got to just look logically, not emotionally. So there's going to be a bait and switch, because once you have compliance of the general masses to wear a mask and say, you can't go shopping, you can't do this, you can't do that, X, Y, and Z without a mask, not a big deal, okay? For most people, 95 out of 100 people are going to be like, yeah, it's just a mask, whatever. Protect you, protect me, whatever the mindset is. But now that you've gotten comfortable, well, there's going to be a bait and switch. And so then it's going to come a vaccine where you can't fly, you can't go to work, you can't do anything, you can't attend events until you have a certificate of proof that you've been vaccinated. So there's something called cognitive dissonance, meaning that when you've been learned, your brain, through repetition, you can be taught, and it happens through mainstream media our whole lives. Once people are starting to wake up to mainstream media and how much we get lied to, imagine how bad history and history books that have been written, what we know growing up. So there's a thing called cognitive dissonance, meaning when you've been taught something for so long that when you're taught the complete opposite, which really is the truth, your brain has such a hard time accepting it that you feel standoffish against that viewpoint. You feel standoffish and you feel offended by that because it is conflicting with what you know to be true already. And so that's why I really need to open that up and say, open your eyes and open your mind. I just had such a bad trauma in the emergency room today where someone tried to kill themselves. You know what I mean? And it sucks because the person lost a family member not too long ago from cancer, and they didn't mentally recover, and this person was already mentally ill, and then the mom found their child with, they tried killing themselves, which they're brain dead, you know what I mean? So I see so much more suicides, homicides, domestic abuse. I've seen parents get arrested for crap because they're abusing their kids, shaken baby syndromes. I see babies being dropped. I see babies being shaken by parents. I'm scanning way more children, way more pediatric cases that we're stabilizing and shipping out to Children's Hospital. Once you are the last person to do CPR on somebody before they take that last breath of air in this world, in this life, and when you spend 5 to 10 minutes cleaning up saturated towels and blankets of blood and brain matter because somebody has blown their brain out of one side of their brain, and it's all over your CAT scan table and on the ground, and their eyes, when you're pulling that patient up into the head holder and they're right here and you're looking straight down onto them, and their brains, I don't want to get graphic, I'm just telling you, when you witness these things and you're this close away and your hands are on a broken skull, if you've ever felt a broken skull in your hands, it changes the way you think about these things, guys. So that's why I'm so strong. That's why I'm so adamant. That's why I stand up for what I believe in about not wearing masks, about look what's going on with the economy. If you don't know what the Great Reset is, it's not a conspiracy. Time Magazine just had a huge article. It's on the front of their thing. They're trying to program our brains into thinking that this Great Reset, that all these countries in the world, like I said in the very beginning of this video, this is something that's been planned. This is not a pandemic. This is a scamdemic. And there are so many countries in on this. And many people still think, who watch mainstream media, still think that the governments could not do something then, that they truly believe that the governing agencies that oversee their care and their health and their lives could never, ever, ever plan to do something so devilish. I'm telling you, these people, that's all they care about. They care about money and they care about the devil. They care about servicing things that are beyond the scope of this video. So with that said, once you deal with something that I just explained, something as horrid as that, it changes how you think about your life. It changes how you go about talking to people in your own day-to-day. I might not even make it home. I might get into a car crash. You know what I mean? Like, you got to start thinking and opening up your eyes and opening up your mind, because this great reset that is at stage, the world is a stage, and we are watching a movie right now. And you need to take an active role in standing up for what you believe in. Now, whether that is in person with protests, or if that is being a digital soldier and sharing your voice like I'm doing right now, you need to get involved somehow. Because once all these countries go in on this and approve a digital certification of vaccination proof, and they roll out a mass vaccination program, what are you going to do? It's easy to say, no, I'm not going to get it, but what are you going to do when there's no warfare? What are you going to do when it's a restriction of rights, a restriction of access? You can't go to work, you can't fly, you can't go see your family, you can't visit other family members in the hospital. You know, like, we're in it, we're in the thick of this right now, and it really bothers me. And there's so many people who are just so blind to what's really going on. This is just a front, you know, this scamdemic is just a front of many, many other things that are truly going on behind the scenes. And again, way beyond the scope of this video, because I'm wrapping it up right now. But please just open up your eyes. And don't be afraid to, when you guys learn something new and you have that cognitive dissonance that I just mentioned, keep going down that rabbit hole and keep learning. The internet is at our fingertips. And it works in two directions. It works in the direction that it is bad for us because we can be lied to much on a faster and more rapid scale that we've been used to through other sources of media growing up. Like, I never had radio. My parents had radio, and then they had TV. My dad had, his neighbors had one of the first televisions in the whole neighborhood. So that was their source of media. So for that generation, they still trust the mainstream media. And so even my dad is branching away from that and learning that all these things are fake and false and phony. So now he's doing his own independent research and stuff. But there's still cognitive dissonance when I have deep rabbit hole discussions with him. But he's more open to accepting the fact that something I'm telling him might be true. So we're making progress. 5 years ago, he used to say, Brad, you're freaking nuts. You're freaking crazy. I couldn't talk to him about certain topics. And unfortunately, when something like this happens, hopefully this is the one time that we only have something like this in our lifetimes. It's crazy. But on the other side, we have the internet at our fingertips. You can learn all the good stuff. You have a choice. You have a choice to learn. So keep learning. Keep going down these rabbit holes. And when you hit that cognitive dissonance, keep going. Because once you keep opening up your eyes and keeping an open mind, that's when you truly are enlightened. And someone taught me that when someone learns something on their own, you can never ever change their mind ever again. Once they've made up their mind on their own, because most things that we learn through repetition, through the news, and through repetition from what our parents. Anyways, it is from an external source, and how we learn, and how our brains are programmed growing up. But once we get to a certain age, and it doesn't actually, let me take that back, age has nothing to do with it. Once you take something and take power of it for yourself, and you learn about it, you can't be stopped. You can't unsee things, and then you want to keep going, and you want to help others with the information that you learn. So I just encourage you guys to keep going. That's all I have to say for this.